start with a slightly hushed, serious tone, you know. The most terrifying stories aren't the ones with monsters and ghosts. They're the ones that could happen to any of us. The ones where the monster looks just like a regular person. This is one of those stories. It's a story that began on a chilly autumn evening in 1974, in a quiet, unassuming neighborhood in Midvale, Utah. For the DaRonch family, it was just another day. 16-year-old Carol was at the local mall, browsing the bookstore, completely unaware that she was being watched. The man who approached her was clean-cut, polite, and had a familiar, trustworthy face. He introduced himself as Officer Roseland of the Murray Police Department. He told Carol that someone had tried to break into her car. He seemed so professional, so concerned. He even had a police-style badge. He asked her to come with him to the station to file a report. Every instinct told her this felt wrong, but he was a police officer, right? Who questions a police officer? It's a decision that would plunge her into a nightmare that was all too real. As Carol got into his Volkswagen Beetle, a cold dread began to creep up her spine. This wasn't a police car. Where was the siren? The radio? The man, Officer Roseland, explained it was an unmarked vehicle. He drove away from the mall, but not towards the police station. The streets grew darker, less familiar. He then asked her to put on her seatbelt. As she fumbled with it, a click echoed through the car. Not the seatbelt. It was the click of a handcuff snapping onto her wrist. In that single, terrifying moment, the illusion shattered. This was not a police officer. This was a kidnapper. Panic erupted. Carol fought back with everything she had. She screamed. She kicked. She tried to open the door. The man, no longer calm and collected, pulled a gun and threatened to blow her head off. He was trying to get the other handcuff on her, but Carol was a whirlwind of desperate resistance. The car swerved erratically. He missed a turn, and in that split second of confusion, Carol saw her chance. She unlocked the door and threw herself out of the moving car into the path of oncoming headlights. She was free, but her ordeal was just the beginning of a much larger, darker story. Because just a few hours later, and not far away, another young woman named Debbie Kent was leaving her high school play. Her parents waited for her, but she never came out. Witnesses later recalled a handsome, charming man who was seen in the parking lot, asking for help. A man with his arm in a sling, struggling with a briefcase near a Volkswagen Beetle, the same car Carol had just escaped from. Debbie, kind-hearted and willing to help, was never seen alive again. The police were now connecting the dots. They had Carol's incredible story of survival and a detailed description of her attacker, a man who was charismatic, intelligent, and utterly without remorse. They released a composite sketch, and the tips started pouring in, but the man they were looking for was a ghost. He was a master of disguise, changing his appearance, his car, even his mannerisms. He was hiding in plain sight, living a seemingly normal life, blending into the community he terrorized. For months, he remained a phantom, a chilling question mark hanging over the state. Then, a breakthrough. A highway patrolman stopped a Volkswagen Beetle for suspicious driving. The driver was cooperative, charming even, but something felt off. A search of the car revealed a collection of horrifying items: a crowbar, a face mask, rope, and handcuffs. The driver's name, Ted Bundy. When Carol DaRonch was brought in to identify him from a lineup, there was no hesitation. The moment she saw him, the terror came flooding back. It was him, the man who had called himself Officer Roseland, the man she had fought off with every ounce of her strength. Bundy was initially convicted only for Carol's kidnapping. It was a victory, but a small one. He was sentenced to prison, but this was a man who didn't play by the rules. He believed he was smarter than everyone else, and for a while, it seemed like he was right. In a stunning turn of events, Bundy managed to escape from custody, not once, but twice. The first time, he jumped out of a courthouse library window during a recess. He was caught days later, but the second time, he was more meticulous. He sawed a hole in the ceiling of his cell and vanished into the night, leaving a trail of terror that would soon stretch across the entire country. His escape triggered one of the largest manhunts in American history. He fled to Florida, a state where nobody knew his face. There, his rage and violence escalated to an unimaginable level. In a single horrific night at the Chi Omega sorority house at Florida State University, he unleashed a brutal attack, leaving 2 young women dead and 2 others severely injured. Just weeks later, he abducted and murdered his youngest victim, a 12-year-old girl named Kimberly Leach. The charming facade was gone, replaced by a monster. He was finally captured, almost by accident, during a routine traffic stop in Pensacola. This time, there would be no escape. The trials that followed were a media circus. Bundy, representing himself, was arrogant and defiant, playing to the cameras, but the evidence was overwhelming. Bite marks left on one of the sorority victims were a perfect match to his dental impressions. It was the nail in his coffin. The charming law student, the friendly face, was exposed as one of the most prolific serial killers in American history, ultimately confessing to over 30 murders before his execution. Carol DaRonch's story is a chilling reminder of the evil that can hide behind a smile and a badge. Her courage, her split-second decision to fight back and jump from that moving car, not only saved her own life, but also provided the key that would eventually unlock the mystery of Ted Bundy. It's a testament to the power of trusting your gut instinct. Sometimes, the most heroic act is simply the will to survive. Thank you for watching. If you found this story compelling, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into true events that shaped our world. Stay safe out there.